Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! How you doing, Rob? Uh-oh, Rob, you muted.
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I figured you was going to say great. I couldn't hear you though. But I'm doing absolutely wonderful. It's good to be back on the podcast here at Southern Fried Podcast, our front porch talking episode, where we just come out on the front porch, get the sweet tea, sit down in the rocking chair, watch the traffic go by, dogs run and frolic, maybe a plane fly over once in a while, and wave at the neighbors as they go down the road. Rob, sounds good.
It does, and it's a lot of fun.
And wave the fan. Yeah, and wave the fan because it's so hot right now.
You ain't kidding. I mean, it has been burning up.
I know. I'm thankful that the front porch is inside right now, although I love that outside too. You know, Rob, there's just certain times in your life where you just sit and you're stunned and you don't really know how to react. And I think for both of us, we both feel that way right now.
Oh, yeah.
We have just experienced a real blessing on this program.
Yes.
And I when I die, hopefully that's a long time away, this will be a highlight, this day. You know, my marriage, birth to my kids, salvation, those are up there. But this is way up the list, Rob. We have been so blessed to have had sat with over an hour and talked to a true radio legend.
Yes.
And we're going to be able to share that with the Southern Fried Podcast watchers, listeners, however they bring in the show, Earl Friedenberg. And we're not going to tell you about the interview. We want you to come watch it, but I just have thoughts, and I want to hear Robert's thoughts. But this program will air Friday night, that's the 12th, I believe, July 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there'll be a promo that will be going up tonight, I'm sure, that he gives us, was just really gracious to give. But I just want to make a couple of comments, and I want to hear your thoughts, Rob. He's such a gracious human being to not only give us the time, but to be so kind. And he encouraged us in this interview. And he encouraged other people to support us. And it's enough to make me a little emotional. I won't lie, how that's a couple of old country boys like me and you have been blessed to be blessed by a man that really just wants to bless other people and took of his time and used it to try to bless all of our listeners. And I know they will be, because I am. Robert, what do you feel at this moment? We literally just ended the interview just a few moments ago.
Dude, I don't have any. I have words, but most of them are like, I am in awe. This gentleman, his career spanned, from beyond my time, long before I was born, to just a few years ago. And it's amazing the amount of experience and the amount of knowledge and just the sheer, he has a force in his personality. He's a force there, but it's not an overbearing. It's a very gracious,
humble.
Very humble, but it's
very humble.
Yes.
It's absolutely amazing. He didn't want us to call him Mr.
No.
And if you notice, without telling about the interview, he told a couple of stories. I think that he learned from some people that he stood in awe of about that. And he just extended a lot of grace to us as human beings, as fellow broadcasters. I will never have the career that this man has had and still has. He's still going on. And Robert, the one thing I will share, we did not know that we were the very first podcast that Earl had ever came on. And Earl, if you see this, we thank you from the bottom of our
very
heart.
much.
We're
Very.
just deeply, deeply honored. And
Mm.
I'm just excited to air this for the folks. But what a great day to sit on the front porch, man.
Oh
It
yeah,
always is, but wow, and the name drops and the stories and stuff like that.
yeah,
I say we probably only skimmed the surface, but boy, what a skimming we did.
yeah. And he said he's willing to come back too. So that's going to be amazing as
A
well,
little light on here.
because um, you know Roy Acuff. I'm not going to go into the interview, but he mentioned Roy Acuff. I got to see Roy Acuff back in the '80s before he passed,
Yeah.
and at the Grand Ole Opry, and it was that in itself. But then the story that he told, it just made it all the
Oh
better.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, so
So, I think as I was thinking about this, some people age well, some people age bad. And I don't mean health wise. Some
yeah,
people, for various reasons, there could be a lot of reasons. As they age, they get a little grumpy or they get a little very direct. The filters are off. We know that we get older, the filters are off. Um,
not this time.
his graciousness off the scale. And he was asking us if we were okay, and if is it okay to do this, and
No,
that's true professionalism.
it
And
is.
uh, we I know we have and we can learn a lot from him. He feels like he's a dinosaur, but no,
No,
he's. I will say this. I will say this in this program. I don't know how much he wants to be involved, but I, I'm telling you, that man misses the microphone. And somebody out there in radio or podcasting or whatever that wants somebody to come in regularly and let him just go with these things, that you need to ring his number.
well,
And
he's welcome here anytime he wants to
he,
come on.
he is absolutely. But I mean, I really think he wants, because he has such a love for radio. There's
Yes,
got to be a AM or FM or some kind of radio out there in
yeah,
Chattanooga that can still give him a 2 hour slot or an hour slot or something. Just let him play, if nothing else, play the gospel, or he loved the country, and
yeah,
talk about the stories. And I'm telling you, I would listen to that program. I would listen to it. You can still, put it out there as podcast and not stream it and all that. But this man he needs a microphone in front of him. You just, like he said, there's no retirement.
no,
There really is no retirement. It's just sometimes you don't have the opportunity to keep going. But uh, I he it's just amazing the history we have here in this area with broadcasting, in not only my area but throughout the South, and I know around the country. But we really are blessed in this Chattanooga region for having such talent. The Luthers, the Tommy Jets, the all the people that we talked about. But folks, I know we look like fanboys right now, but I don't care. There's a perpetual smile across my soul right now of having spent time with him, whether we recorded a program or not.
yeah,
I'm just amazed. It's not often you meet someone like that, to me.
yeah.
And you meet a lot of good people, but he's in a category that's different than most. And what a blessing for us. Like I said, very new at podcasting, trying to build a brand, and to have his stamp of approval is such a blessing.
It is amazing, and we don't think about a lot of times, when somebody retires and stuff like that. But that's still they have, especially him. He has such a wealth of knowledge and so many experiences, and people tend to overlook that, but we shouldn't. This was amazing, dude.
Oh yeah,
I I wouldn't trade this experience for many others in my life.
there's not enough adjectives to use for what
Mm-mm.
we feel like. And Um, it makes you want to wish, I guess it was a better word. We're a little bit in that golden era of broadcasters. He talked about the radio war stories or whatever it was. Uh, but some of those, I mean, I met Tommy Jet once by accident, but I listened to Tommy Jet for decades. The Hey Now, and
Yeah.
the rings and all. I got to see him up close. That's an interesting story. I'll share real quick. I don't have many, but I don't even remember somebody I think it was somebody in my family. My head's all spinning right now, but we were actually at the courthouse waiting for somebody to go in front of the judge. And I guess he was there being a character witness for somebody that he cared about. But he was showing us these rings and all. We stood right across from each other in the hallway. Very crowded. You know how courthouses are. And he was. This is not too many years before he passed, but just hearing those stories and stuff to be right there. But hearing that the different programs and talking about. I never got to meet, some of the people he talked about, but boy, just to be in a room with them would have been so awesome. And
Oh,
there's such a camaraderie, and some of these things they overlap. Like say Roy Acuff and
yes.
radio, because entertainers they go on radio programs. So these radio broadcasters they've met a lot of these people. They've developed friendships and we're on first name basis, and
Yes.
and so it overlaps. Sports figures could be the same way, going to the Lookouts game or going to the Atlanta Braves or wherever that sporting event is, and you're doing the stories with newspaper people, TV people there, radio people, and all those people are in press boxes and stuff like that, and they just it just overlaps, and you build these great relationships as you go down through your career. And sometimes you're just blessed to be at the right place at the right time.
One of
You
the
mentioned you mentioned the wrestling, and without again, we're not going to talk about the interview, but wrestling would be another form of entertainment that also you would have in our region, Harry Thornton, and
yeah,
that we watched for decades up here, and other. I don't want to leave anybody's name out. There's obviously people
yeah,
that I don't know if they would hear our program, but they might. And there's still a bunch of them that are out there. Some have retired, some are still going, and there's some new ones coming along. But I, I just enjoy being a part of something that's uh, bigger than me. It's much
yes.
bigger than me, and to have a small piece of that. Yeah, I'm a fan. So front porch talking. It's like a kid going to mentioning a ball game and getting an autograph.
Yeah,
And a kid goes and he brings a baseball or they buy him there, and he gets in line, and the players coming down through there. That kid only gets seconds in front of someone that they really admire, maybe a superstar,
yeah,
but they will remember that moment the rest of their lives.
absolutely. And you know, we're trying to. In a way, we kind of mirror the old talk shows because on Southern Fried Podcast, we have a lot of different things, and you and I both have a lot of different interests. Our interests are varied, and we try to spread the everything out. We have different, we have our morning funnies, we have our devotions, we have our prayer time, we have our front porch talking, we have our Southernisms, Mama Saids. We have a whole bunch of stuff that we work on because our interests are so varied.
Yeah.
And hopefully, very soon, we're going to be, before the end of the month, we'll be going live with a lot of that. But we don't edit anything. We come on here, we record, and we put it out. What you see is what you get. We don't have
No,
blooper reels. We are the blooper reels. But you know, like he was. I'm not going to go into too much into the interview, and it's hard not to.
I know it is hard.
But we want y'all to know that we're going to try to stay true to the talk radio type format.
Yes.
That's important to us, and
He
you know,
he picked up on that.
I think
He
so.
really did, because he understands that the person with the microphone, he I think he appreciated a little bit how we felt about that, and that we were wanted to be. We were old school, and we things may change and maybe we will get pushed to the side. That's okay.
Yeah.
But we're going to stay true to what we love. And I don't want to, we've got to do some things, obviously, that are appealing to some people that are not going to be appealing to others. That's why we try to offer different things. We do things that are short. We'll be doing things that are live, different things. It's not, every show is not for everybody, and that's by design. We want, and some, maybe there's listeners out there who like every show. I'm thankful my wife likes every show. But we're going to stay true to that, and we may do some things like the Morning Funny, which is very short, sometimes less than a minute and a half. That's a fast hitter for people getting going in the morning, and that's what it's intended for. And the reading of scripture and all that, a funny and something very good for your soul as you go. But then we have those programs like we just did with Earl, or this program where we sit down and we have this longer conversation. That might be 15 minutes. It might be 30. It might be 45 or an hour. We don't usually go over an hour. We did with Earl, and I won't apologize for it. We packed a lot in that, and he was gracious to give us that time. So, sometimes people say, well, I got to get caught up on the videos. And I say, you know what? There's no hurry. There's more programming coming, but you have the power to go back and listen to that anytime you want. You don't have to be there right when it airs. I do podcasts the same way. I get caught up when I can. I enjoy them. Life is busy. So somebody might say, well, you got all this program. I can't listen to it every day. Well, you don't have to. It's when it's a rainy day, you don't feel good. You're curled up on the couch, maybe with a book, throw on the podcast and listen to a few shows. And we try to keep things concise on many of the things. We try not to go too long. It's really hard, and we have so much fun.
Yeah. We have fun with this. And that's why we do it. We enjoy it. But one thing that we're going to have with this interview, we're going to have that from now on. We're always going to be able to look back.
Oh, yeah.
And
now,
it's a moment we get to relive.
And Robert, one of the things, I don't mean to interrupt you, because you touched on it real quick, and we've talked about it, and we're getting there. We're still developing everything. We're going to have some of these programs broke down too into chapters and parts that you can go to a part you really want to listen to, and maybe get less rest later or whatever you want to do. So if you don't want to listen to 45 minutes or an hour, I understand. We're working on that. These are all things that we're trying to get up to speed on. We're trial and error. We're working hard. I can say that. That's not blowing smoke. That's truth. We're working hard to try to make it better every day, and we'll get there because we have a passion for it.
Yes, and in case y'all didn't notice, we are a couple of Gen Xers. We are the last of the feral children. Okay, we drank out of water hoses and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and we survived.
Right.
We survived our whoopings, and we got just enough tech knowledge to get ourselves in trouble and have to get some 8-year-old to come fix it for us. But we're working on it.
Hey, you know what? I do try to keep caught up, but I have to say, and people will laugh at this, it's okay. I laugh at myself too. When one of my granddaughters we were going out of town, I think, headed out to have a vacation, and one of my granddaughters in the back seat, they all got cell phones. And one of them said, Papa, can we use your hotspot? I know what they were talking about. Hotspot. But my wife did, because they'd already educated her, and she said, I'll take care of it. And I said, what is it they want? Hotspot. What are you talking about? She said, I'll explain it in a minute. Let me take care. And I felt like the old dinosaur, what's all, now I know, but the kids will tell you those things.
Yeah. But it was like us explaining a VCR to our parents,
Oh yeah.
You have to hook it into here and hook it in there, and then you have to put make sure you rewind it before you take it back. We had to explain this to our folks, and what is that thing on your hip? This is a Walkman. What does it do? It plays music.
Robert, what you just said will make a great program. Sounds that we used to hear that we don't. I'll give you two real quick. The sound of the VCR rewinding to the start before you took it back to the video store, whatever. That sound, everybody remembers that. And the early days of dial-up internet.
Yes.
Nobody that's went through that will forget that.
No. Another good one is the sound of the busy signal on the telephone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was,
Very
and the
annoying.
sound of baseball cards that you've attached to the spokes of your bike tires.
That's a good one. Yeah. And now, how many of those baseball cards now would be worth a lot of money? Not all of them, but some of them.
Who knows?
Superstars we had used them. We threw them around each other. We traded them. We you know
Hmm.
what we really wanted? We wanted the bubble gum.
Yeah, that's all we want. It's something to make our bike tires go.
That's cool stuff, man. That's cool stuff. When you know, thinking about how, and I think about musicians, and you hear them. There's a great video a friend of mine shared with me, and it's the what's the name of it? I can't remember the name of that studio, Sound City, and the early days of the huge board and the tape, and how some of the most iconic bands recorded music. It's a great. You can find it on YouTube. It's a great documentary to watch. And nowadays with technology, they record albums like we're doing right now with podcasts. You're South Georgia, I'm
Mhm.
North Georgia. They're all over the world. And
Yeah,
they put all that together through the internet and then send that in, and it's released well, they are doing some albums. That's become sort of a niche market for people to do albums and Blu-rays and whatever else. But honestly, they go to the streaming music sources and they pick a song they want. They don't really. Some people do albums, but very few. They do songs, and so a lot of bands have started just releasing songs. They say it's really not worth it to do an album. I think a lot of them do it because they they love the album concept and they just have a lot of material. So we might as well release it, but there's no money there. They have to
yeah,
tour endlessly and charge a lot of money for the prices to make a living. And people may think that's crazy, but nobody buys albums anymore. Not
no,
really, not in the numbers. I mean, think of a huge artist and if they sold 1 million albums at one time, that was a great success. Even
yeah,
500,000 for some was huge. You get another
yeah,
band that does 3 or 4 million, they're superstars. Now you're thankful if you do a few 100,000. Honestly,
yeah,
it's and that's in the first week or two. Then nobody much buys them anymore. In many cases, not every case, but how they had to do 4 tracks and all that stuff now, and now they've got all that technology. They can splice all this stuff together. Right, they literally spliced tape together back in the day,
yeah.
and the tape would get wore out. Um, I will tell this. Earl didn't talk about it in the interview, so I just reminded he had years of tapes of one of his programs,
Oh,
and they started saving them after many many years. Unfortunately, some of them lost to time because the tape wore it just wore out. It was no good. And they couldn't rescue it was gone. And that happens. That's why they do the movie projects where they try to rescue the old movies and get them protected. There are movies that have been recorded, filmed rather, that are forever lost. They never, the master tapes were destroyed. They didn't have like today where it's everywhere, and they're just gone. So I think what is it, AMC? They have or something like that. They have a project where they save the old classics, the movies, and get them protected for all time, and try to get them looking better than they even did, just enough because they really faded. It was rough, the sound, the popping, whatever.
right. And um, there's so much that they're due now, like with digital. Just think about how much uh, on the digital movies now is different. Yeah, I remember going to movie theater and seeing them change the reel. You probably
Yeah,
remember that, just to start part two or whatever. And that, you don't see that anymore. Uh,
no.
it just, and things have changed so much, and that's just in our lifetimes.
Well, Robert,
You
here's a
know,
question for you. I don't even know. Maybe somebody will tell us. Is there even anybody up there anymore? It's all done by computer, right? Is there anybody up there that is actually starting the movie? Is it all?
I, I don't know for sure, but I think someone has to hit the start button somewhere.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But are they sitting at a computer screen
They all
and
be,
hitting? And they
yeah,
got cameras and they can look into any of the theater. Or is it one guy and there's and there's 10 different theaters, and they're doing all that from a master
And all
control.
the projectors are linked on one computer
That,
screen, and they're clicking the
I
button.
don't know the answer,
I don't
but I'd
either.
like to know. We need to research that.
Yeah.
Somebody will know. We'll just call and get an interview with somebody about that. That'd be a great interview. Well,
Tell us
there's
what's going
another
on.
one for you, Rob. Going to movies is kind of a dying thing. People do
It is.
Redbox, they do the downloads. Most of the streaming services, you just do it right on your phone or right at home. I mean, going to the
Well,
movies there's some things some movies you really have to be in a movie theater for, I believe. But
I got no sympathy for these movie theaters anymore. None. If it costs you what $6 or $7 for a Coke, if
it's
it
crazy.
costs you 20 something dollars for some popcorn,
Yeah, I think we went, and I got the tickets ahead of time, so I'd already bought my tickets. I forget what we went to watch. I think it was it was a kids movie, where it was a faith based movie, and
yeah,
honestly, we went on like a Tuesday night, Monday or Tuesday night. There was nobody in the theater, but in that particular theater, but me, my wife, and my granddaughter. And for us, I'd already bought the tickets online, so I went in and just showed my thing on my phone, and so we bought popcorn and 3 drinks. No candy, no nothing. That was over $40, I believe, close to 50
yeah.
bucks.
I ain't got no sympathy for the movie theaters. They're doing this to themselves. Popcorn's not that expensive. You don't believe me? You go buy some Orville Redenbacher and throw it in the microwave.
But you
It's
know
not
what,
that expensive.
Rob? That's some of the best popcorn you'll eat, though, is at the movie theater. I'm telling you, it is.
It ain't that good.
Well, maybe not for the cost, but the experience, Well, for a lot of people dating, that's still, I guess, the thing to go take your sweetie to a movie. They don't care what's
Well,
playing.
I guess. But popcorn, yeah, it might taste good, but it don't throw worth the flip. How you going to aggravate the person in front of you throwing popcorn that don't throw good? You got to go get some Orville Redenbacher, throw it in the get them to throw it in the microwave, take it in the theater, so you have something to throw. You can't afford to throw theirs.
Well, you know what people do, Rob? They sneak in all their food.
That's cheating.
Well, I'm telling you, look how many big bags are going in on the shoulders of some of the females. They pack it down. They're not paying that for all them kids. They got the M&Ms and the Almond Joys and whatever else them kiddos want. Yeah, they might even pack a couple of waters in there. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, they could do it. Maybe makes me want to carry a purse. No, it doesn't.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Make my look big. Or like I've got thunder thighs or something. I don't want to do that.
Well, again, we appreciate you coming into the front porch with us, and we're as we said, we've got a lot of programming we're working on. Some we're still trying to get going. Most of it's going, but we've got a couple things when we go live that we'll add to it. We've got some sports shows that we haven't done. We're going to do, and we're just trying to line some things up. Stay with us here, and definitely contact us. But share it out, and if you like it, let us know. We can tell by every follow and every like that there's somebody that enjoys what we're doing. We're on all the major streams, so you can find us anywhere. And we've got as we are recording this, our podcast is just released. Interview with Santa that released tonight. So while we're recording this, Santa is on the air. So I hope that was a fun one too. Had a great time with our local Santa from Rock City, Enchanted Gardens, and a good friend. He'll be back, and so look forward to that. We've got another interview coming up, Rob, with Animal Rescue Alliance. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
They will be on with us Friday night, and that'll probably air Sunday night.
Friday night, and we'll probably air it out Saturday,
Sunday, somewhere in there. And we're looking into next week. We don't have any definites yet. We've got a couple of things out there, but things always pop up. And
and while we're talking about the Animal Rescue Alliance, let me put this out there for everybody in Miller County, Seminole County, Early County, Decatur County, anybody around Dawsonville. If you're looking for a pet, a dog or a cat, they're having a special ARS next week, Animal Rescue Alliance, where it's $50 adoption, and they're microchipping them there. So that $50 includes that. And so look, and I'm got some videos, some kittens I'm gonna have to put up there. I've got to figure out how I'm gonna do it because I'm a horrible recorder, and my camera was my phone was going all different directions. But I'm gonna try to get some of these videos up for these kittens, and they've got dogs, and Fern's still needing a home. Y'all
got to get Fern a home.
Yes, but if you're looking for a dog or a cat, this is the place to go, and this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
So,
And if you can't take another animal, I know there's a lot of different organizations, but we're really close to this and we've partnered with them. Send a donation their way. There's their website. You can do that through PayPal. In fact, they just released today a little snippet of news about someone that brought some things by. I seen that and was just making comments about it. So great folks. We're going to have a long-term relationship with them, and we appreciate them very much. They've been very kind to us, but our main goal is to get animals into forever homes.
Yes.
So be looking forward to that.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Hope you enjoyed your sweet tea.
Yeah. I'm ready for a refill.
I am too. All right. We love you guys. God bless you. Like and follow.
Salute. Good night.